The prison of opinions. Most people live their entire lives trapped inside the opinions of others, begging for validation, hiding their true selves, and never becoming who they were meant to be. They wake up every morning and immediately put on the mask that society approves of. They walk through life performing, pretending, pleasing. Their decisions are filtered through one question: what will they think? That question becomes a chain, a mental cage. And with every thought, every hesitation, every fear of being judged, the cage tightens. Most never escape it. They die still worrying about voices that were never theirs to begin with. You were not born to please people. You were not born to fit in. You were born to become something greater. But that version of you will never surface if you're still seeking applause. Approval kills potential. The moment you start shaping your life around other people's expectations, you stop living your own. You start shrinking, adjusting, conforming. You silence your truth just to be accepted by those who don't even know who they are. The irony is, no matter how hard you try to please everyone, someone will still criticize you. You'll still be misunderstood. You'll still be judged. So why waste your life performing for an audience that doesn't matter? The prison of opinions doesn't come with bars you can see. It's built in your mind. It's every moment you hesitated to speak because you feared being wrong. It's every dream you buried because someone laughed at it. It's every time you stopped yourself from trying because you didn't want to look stupid. That's how most people live, trapped by invisible walls made of insecurity. And the saddest part is, they think that's normal. They think living for others is the way to survive. It's not survival, it's surrender. You're giving away your freedom, one judgment at a time. You have to understand something. People will always talk. Always. No matter what you do, someone will find a reason to tear you down. You could save lives, build empires, or chase your purpose relentlessly. And still, someone will twist it, mock it, or belittle it. That's the nature of the world. Most people who judge are projecting their own fear and weakness. They can't do what you do, so they talk to make themselves feel better. And if you let their noise control you, you've already lost. The goal isn't to silence them, it's to become immune to them. To break free, you've got to get brutally honest with yourself. Ask, whose voice is guiding your life? Who are you trying to impress? Who are you afraid of disappointing? When you strip it all down, you'll realize how little those people truly matter. The ones you're trying so hard to please probably don't even care. They're too busy fighting their own insecurities, trapped in their own cages. You're chasing approval from ghosts. And once you see that truth, you start to feel something powerful: indifference. That's the first taste of freedom. Freedom doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being real, from standing firm in who you are, even when no one claps for you. When you stop asking for permission to be yourself, you start becoming dangerous. Because now, no opinion can control you. You don't need validation to move, to build, to fight. You become untouchable. The same people who once doubted you will eventually respect you. Not because you conformed, but because you didn't. Because you stood your ground while they folded. But don't expect it to be easy. Breaking out of the prison of opinions means facing isolation. It means being misunderstood. It means walking alone when others turn away. But that's the price of becoming your own person. You can't be free and liked at the same time. You can't live for truth and comfort simultaneously. One kills the other. You've got to choose. And once you choose to stop caring what others think, you'll realize how heavy that weight really was and how strong you've become for dropping it. The mirror test. The only person you have to answer to is the one staring back at you in the mirror. Until you respect that person, the world will own you. Every morning, when you wake up and look at yourself, that reflection knows everything. It knows when you're lying. It knows when you cut corners, when you made excuses, when you talked about goals but didn't move an inch toward them. You can fool everyone else, but not that reflection. That's the one person who sees your truth, not the filtered version, not the highlight reel, not the fake confidence you show the world. Just you, stripped down to your reality. And most people can't even stand to look at it. They avoid the mirror because it reminds them of what they've become. Soft, comfortable, distracted, fake. They've traded self-respect for temporary acceptance. They've learned to chase approval instead of growth. But here's the truth. You can't respect yourself when you're living like that. You can't look yourself in the eye if you know deep down you're running from who you could be. That reflection isn't your enemy. It's your accountability. It's the reminder that the only person you truly have to answer to is you. No boss, no critic, no stranger online, just you. And until you can look that person in the eye with pride, the world owns you. It owns your emotions, your reactions, your peace. When you wake up in the morning, there's a voice that whispers before the world gets loud. That voice asks, are you doing what you said you do? Are you living with purpose, or are you pretending again? You can't hide from that question. You can distract yourself with noise, with people, with fake confidence, but when it's quiet, when you're alone, the truth always catches up. The mirror doesn't lie. It reflects exactly what you've earned. And most people don't like what they see because they've been living for everyone else's approval except their own. You have to earn your reflection. You have to earn the right to respect the person staring back. That means keeping promises to yourself when no one's watching. It means doing the work when there's no praise, no spotlight, no applause. It means being real about your flaws, not covering them up with excuses. The mirror test isn't about perfection. It's about ownership. Can you own your actions? Can you own your failures without running from them? Can you stand there, look yourself dead in the eyes and say, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm doing something about it? That's where self-respect starts. The world has convinced you to chase validation outside yourself. Likes, opinions, compliments, fake success. But none of that matters if you can't pass the mirror test. Because when the lights go off, when the noise fades, when everyone's gone, it's just you and your reflection. That's when reality hits. You can't lie to that person. You can't negotiate your way out of accountability. You either did the work or you didn't. You either showed up or you didn't. You either grew or you stayed soft. The mirror doesn't care about your excuses. It only shows the truth. Respect is built in silence. It's built through the grind, through the pain, through the moments when you want to quit but don't. Every rep, every late night, every sacrifice adds something to the reflection. Integrity. You start to see someone you trust, someone who follows through, someone you can rely on. And once you reach that point, you stop being owned by the world. You stop chasing fake validation because the real validation is internal. It's in knowing you've done what most won't. It's in knowing you faced your flaws and kept going anyway. That's when you become unshakable. But here's the part most people run from. The mirror exposes weakness. It forces you to confront what you've ignored. It doesn't let you hide behind potential or talk. It demands proof. And when you can finally stand there, not because you're perfect, but because you're honest, you gain something powerful. Control. You control your path, your standards, your mind. No opinion, no judgment, no failure can own you once you've earned your own respect. Because the moment you can look in that mirror and see someone who refuses to quit, someone who holds the line even when it hurts, you've already won the battle the world can't see. Pain of judgment versus pain of regret. You can suffer now by being judged for standing alone, or suffer later for living a life built on approval. One pain makes you, the other breaks you. The truth is, there's no version of life without pain. You don't get to avoid it. You only get to choose which kind of pain you're willing to carry. The pain of judgment stings now. When people talk behind your back, when they laugh at your ambition, when they call you crazy for wanting more. But that pain builds something inside you. It sharpens your edges. It forces you to rely on yourself, to harden your mind, to stop begging for understanding. The pain of regret, though, that's a different beast. It creeps up later when the noise fades, when the crowd moves on, when you realize you played it safe your whole life just to please people who never cared. That pain doesn't make you stronger. It eats you alive. Most people pick the easy pain, judgment. They fear being labeled, criticized, left out. So they trade their purpose for approval. They live a watered-down version of their potential because they can't handle being disliked. But the reality is, no matter what you do, people will judge you anyway. They'll judge your success, your failure, your silence, your action. You can spend your whole life trying to please them and still end up misunderstood. So why not be judged for being real? Why not be judged for being true to yourself? The pain of standing alone is temporary. The pain of never becoming who you could have been lasts forever. The pain of judgment is loud, but short-lived. It's the sting you feel when people doubt you, when they mock your choices, when they whisper behind your back. It hurts, but it also fuels you. It gives you something to prove, not to them, but to yourself. It's the kind of pain that creates growth, that builds character. Because when you endure it and keep moving, you realize how small their opinions really are. You realize that judgment can't stop someone who's already decided who they are. Every insult becomes noise. Every doubt becomes motivation. You stop needing to be understood. You just execute. But the pain of regret, that's quiet. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It hits you in the middle of the night when you think about the chances you didn't take, the words you didn't say, the dreams you buried because you didn't want to look stupid. It's the slow burn of knowing you settled. It's the realization that you cared so much about what others thought that you forgot to live your own life. That pain is permanent. It stays. It follows you into old age, into reflection, into every what if. You can't escape it because you can't go back. That's the kind of pain that breaks you, not physically, but mentally, spiritually. It robs you of peace because deep down you know you chose comfort over courage. So you have to decide early. Which pain are you willing to endure? The pain that molds you or the pain that destroys you? The pain of being judged is a small price to pay for freedom. It's the tax of authenticity. Every time you choose your own path, people will talk. Every time you choose growth over conformity, they'll doubt you. Let them. Because while they're talking, you're building. While they're laughing, you're leveling up. And one day, the same people who judged you will look at you with envy because you had the guts to do what they couldn't. The pain of judgment teaches you to stand alone. It teaches you to trust yourself, to operate in silence, to move without needing a round of applause. You stop explaining yourself because you understand something most don't. Greatness demands misunderstanding. Legends, innovators, warriors, they were all judged before they were respected. That's the cost of walking your own path, but the reward is peace. You can sleep knowing you didn't fold, knowing you lived on your own terms, knowing you faced the fire instead of hiding from it. Every day you wake up, the choice is there. Be judged now or regret later. Most people don't have the courage to choose the pain that hurts now but heals later. They choose comfort, and comfort always leads to decay. But if you can learn to embrace the sting of judgment, if you can learn to move through the criticism without losing your focus, you'll earn something far greater than approval. You'll earn freedom. Because once you've survived being judged, nothing anyone says can stop you anymore. The pain that once hurt you becomes the armor that protects you. The freedom of authenticity. The moment you stop chasing acceptance, you gain control over your life, your emotions, and your destiny. That's real freedom. Not comfort, not likes, not applause. Most people spend their entire lives building a version of themselves that the world will accept. They mold their personality to fit in, hide their rough edges, silence their truth, and wear a smile even when they're breaking inside. They call it being normal, but it's really self-betrayal. Every time you act just to be accepted, you hand over a piece of yourself. And the more you do it, the less of you remains. That's the trap. You lose yourself trying to be liked by people who don't even like themselves. Authenticity is rebellion in a world that worships imitation. When you decide to be real, you're choosing to stand against the noise. You stop living through filters. You stop faking energy. Stop adjusting your voice. Stop pretending to care about things that don't align with you. You stop needing permission to exist. And that's where freedom begins, when you no longer need anyone else's approval to breathe. The moment you drop the mask, the air feels different, lighter, realer, because for the first time, you're living on your own terms, not performing for the crowd. But authenticity comes with a price. The world won't clap when you choose to be real. People will question you, criticize you, maybe even walk away, because your truth makes them uncomfortable. It reminds them of their own lies, their own weakness, their own fear of being exposed. That's why most people never experience the freedom of authenticity. They do rather fit in with the crowd than stand out and be misunderstood. They crave comfort, not truth, but comfort is temporary, freedom lasts. And freedom doesn't come from being accepted. It comes from accepting yourself. When you're authentic, you stop running from your flaws. You own them. You stop trying to appear perfect because perfection is fake. You show up as you are, raw, imperfect, real. And that kind of honesty is magnetic. It draws the right people to you and pushes the wrong ones away. You no longer waste time performing for approval because you realize something powerful. You were never meant to be for everyone. The more you embrace who you are, the less you care about who walks away. You stop trying to please everyone and start protecting your peace. Authenticity also changes how you move. When you're real, your decisions come from conviction, not fear. You stop hesitating, stop second-guessing yourself, stop overanalyzing how others will perceive your choices. You trust your instincts. You follow your vision. You start building a life that reflects you, not a copy of someone else's dream. That's where confidence is born. It's not from pretending to have it all together. It's from knowing you're aligned with who you are. You're no longer fighting yourself. You're no longer at war between what you feel and what you show. There's peace in that alignment, a peace that no applause can replace. The freedom of authenticity is dangerous to those still pretending. When you live unapologetically, you expose how fake the game is. You show people that it's possible to live without needing validation, without bending for approval, without hiding your truth. That kind of energy threatens those who are still chained to image and reputation. But you don't owe them comfort. You owe yourself honesty. You owe yourself the life that feels right, even if it looks wrong to everyone else. Because in the end, it's your reflection you have to face, not theirs. Being authentic doesn't mean everyone will like you. It means you'll like yourself. It means you stop being a slave to opinions, to trends, to the constant hunger for validation. It means you walk your path, even if no one understands it. It means you speak your truth, even when your voice shakes. And when you live like that, you unlock a power most never find: control. You control your emotions because they're not tied to approval. You control your direction because it's not guided by fear. You control your destiny because it's finally yours. That's the kind of freedom people talk about but rarely experience. It's not about money, fame, or recognition. It's about being unshakably real in a world built on pretending. It's about having nothing to prove and everything to become. Once you stop chasing acceptance, you start attracting peace. You start becoming who you were always meant to be, without apology, without permission, without fear. Silence the noise, build the armor. You don't fight opinions with words. You fight them with results. Every rep, every late night, every grind becomes your shield. When you're built from the inside out, nothing from the outside can shake you. The world is loud, full of opinions, full of noise, full of people who think they know what you should be doing with your life. They talk, they doubt, they criticize, but they don't understand your mission. They don't know your pain, your sacrifices, your battles. They only see the surface. And if you waste your time trying to defend yourself with words, you'll lose focus on what actually matters: the work. The only language that silences critics is results. You don't prove them wrong by talking louder. You prove them wrong by showing up when they expect you to quit. Every time you step into the grind, every time you do the work in silence, you're building armor. Not the kind made of metal, but the kind made of resilience, of discipline, of consistency. That armor doesn't come overnight. It's forged in repetition, in pain, in isolation. It's built when you show up tired, when you keep pushing through the noise, when you choose growth over comfort. Every rep adds another layer of strength. Every sacrifice makes you harder to break. And one day, you realize the words that used to sting don't even reach you anymore because your armor is too thick. You're too focused, too disciplined, too locked in to be distracted by noise. The noise never stops. It's everywhere. People doubting, people talking, people pretending they know better. But when you learn to silence it, you gain control. You stop giving energy to opinions that don't matter. You stop reacting to every comment, every judgment, every whisper. You stop trying to explain your purpose to people who wouldn't understand it, even if you drew them a map. Because the truth is, their noise is a reflection of their limits, not yours. Weak minds need to talk. Strong minds stay busy building. The ones who are grinding in silence aren't online explaining themselves. They're out there earning respect through action. When you're built from the inside out, external validation becomes irrelevant. You stop chasing recognition because your satisfaction comes from the work itself. You don't need applause when you know what you've built. You don't need permission when you've earned your own respect. That's how you separate yourself from the crowd, by keeping your head down and letting your actions speak. People remember results, not arguments. They might doubt your words, but they can't deny your work. That's why silence is powerful. It's not weakness, it's focus, it's discipline, it's confidence without needing to prove it. Building that armor also means embracing the grind when no one's watching. It's waking up before everyone else, staying late after everyone leaves, doing the reps when there's no audience. It's those unseen hours that shape you. Because when pressure comes, when life hits, when people throw shade, you don't break. You've been here before. You've trained for it. You've built the mental calluses, the emotional toughness, the discipline to stand tall when everyone else folds. That's what being built from the inside out means. Your strength doesn't depend on circumstances. It comes from character. Every time you silence the noise and focus on action, you're teaching yourself something powerful, that your energy is sacred. You can't waste it on proving your worth to people who don't deserve your time. You can't waste it on arguing with the small-minded. You channel it into the grind, into the reps, into the mission. Because while they're talking, you're transforming. While they're doubting, you're becoming. That's how real growth happens. Not in the spotlight, but in the shadows, where only the work speaks. And eventually, the same people who once doubted you will fall silent. Not because you convinced them, but because your results left them nothing to say. You'll look around and realize that the noise never stopped. You just outgrew it. You became so strong, so focused, so grounded that their words couldn't penetrate your armor anymore. And that's when you understand the truth. Silence isn't weakness. It's power. It's the mark of someone who doesn't need validation to move forward. Someone who's too busy becoming unstoppable to care about being understood.